Hi, I'm Samuel, and I won this hat. If you've been watching, you know that my girlfriend and I spent the last 3 weeks sort of pretending we're in school, and I've been studying photography and Japanese for like 3 hours each every day for the week. I thought it would be interesting to talk about what I got out of that, whether or not I thought it was a good idea, would I do it again, and so that's this. So first of all, with photography, I started messing with the camera because I wanted to take good pictures of when people were learning to do things, like when they land a skateboard trick for the first time. I wanted there to be a nice picture of that they could keep because I have that for a few things, and I think that's like really, really important. But so I thought like maybe learning about photography might be useful because you hear things like the rule of thirds, where you divide the picture into thirds horizontally and vertically and try to put your subjects on one of those lines. But there's a lot more to it than that, and I wanted to find out what's up. So the book I read systematically walked through all the sorts of elements of a photograph, the kinds of things people are thinking about when they take photographs, the kinds of things you need to consider. They explain how you get to the rule of thirds and why that's such a popular thing. But also there's all these other ways that you might want to try to arrange things in your picture. And it sort of opened my mind to the possibilities and explains why, not every picture you see does line up with the rule of thirds, but a lot of them do. All this vocabulary and explaining the parts makes it a lot easier to understand what I see in other people's photos, why I like this picture but not this one, why I think that this picture that I took is good and not this one. It also helps to understand a little bit why maybe a picture that I thought was good, a lot of other people don't like that much. So here's some of the pictures I took that I thought were pretty good, that I liked. One of these I'm actually going to order a print of and try to find a place to hang it up in the house here so that I can have like a physical representation of the work that I did. I thought that would be cool, but around Christmas and New Year's, most of the print places are not really working right now, but in the next week or so, I'll get that done. So each day was not just reading this book, but also going out and shooting sort of on assignment, where I looked up these various exercises that people recommend and just tried one every day. This was good for me because while I would like to take pictures of people who are learning to skateboard, that's not a thing I can really do right now because it's cold and wet and terrible, and also we're still supposed to be staying away from each other. So having something else to take pictures of that I could be remotely excited about was very useful. All this taking pictures every day in different situations was really good for just getting comfortable with the camera. I know the settings pretty well now. I understand why you would change some things and not other things, the way I would like to shoot. And I think I'm a lot more prepared now to shoot these things that I actually want to take once we get back into that season. With Japanese, I already spend 20-30 minutes a day at least every day doing some amount of Japanese practice for a while now. But when you give yourself 3 hours every day, you can do a lot more kinds of things. So I was practicing writing kanji. I was practicing writing whole sentences and using different grammar constructs. I was practicing reading and reading a bunch of articles on the internet, mostly about yo-yos because I thought that would be interesting. I also practiced speaking because I technically know the words and what to say in a lot of situations, but I wanted to make sure that it sounded like I actually knew what I was talking about. The end result of so much practice is I generally do feel more confident in my language ability right now. I find it easier to hear individual words that sometimes were a challenge to hear. I notice more when my own pronunciation is actually not correct, because that's an issue a lot of people have when they're trying to learn a language. If you don't hear the differences, then you can't fix the differences. And now at least I hear the differences, even if I am still working on fixing them. Part of the speaking practice involved actually speaking with some native speakers who were generally able to understand me, so that felt pretty good. We could have some conversations, talk about anime we liked, for example, and I think they understood me and didn't have to struggle too hard, I hope. Also, reading articles mostly about yo-yos means I learned useful words like Seido Kanri, Hadazawari, Dulce. Now, I don't necessarily think everyone should do this. I don't really feel like this is a thing you should feel bad if you don't do. I just had a lot of time on my hands and was trying to do something so that I felt like I had done something. If you're like me and you can't go anywhere yet, but you still want to do something and you don't have work to do, this might be something fun to do. It might seem just like work to study every day, but if you're working on something that you actually enjoy and actually want to get into, it can kind of feel good because you make more progress than you would if you were just spending 20-30 minutes a day on that. And you can't do this all the time, so it makes it a little special in that way. So I don't think I'll continue doing this for now, but I do think it was worth doing, and we might do it again like next year. Well, so thanks for watching, and hopefully things are okay where you are. You're at least warm and fed, and I'll check you next time.